Mladen, thank you for your interesting topics and the vision behind everything. So yeah, guys, I have the honor to talk as external speaker here. So today's subject will be testing and securing APIs with AI, but I will share a journey about how I think, how I see, how AI drives us and what is the future behind it. I bring here 11 years of experience. So I would like to introduce myself shortly. I won't go too much into my career, just to give you some introduction. So before I do that, I would like to give you today's agenda on my presentation. So we will talk obviously about introducing me, then we will talk about the challenge of transformation, which means that each of the businesses that we are working on have seen pretty much that there are challenges in accepting this AI drive and how we want to use that situation. As Mladen said, some of us have different views, like about the security, because I'm ethical hacker. I have the paranoia of seeing the security part. And we will discuss the old way, how we did things mostly in our projects. And now I would present a new way of how I think it will be for the next 5 years or so. After that, I will show you some generated API tests with assisted AI. And we will also cover some security API tests. And then we can wrap up and have the session with questions and answers. So how I see myself, I started humbly as Java developer. Then I switched to C# only because I wanted to see what's the difference. Then I specialized to QA, the manual things, and after that I enhanced myself with automation. So the development part, the QA part, is really well when you combine them into the automation. And the automation gives you a driving force, saving time. So at that time when I started working, automation was the performant thing to do. After that, I dedicate my whole life to security, and I learned to be a decent team lead. I had 20 people. I won't cover the details because I should not. Then I started running some teams and upgraded myself into the security architecture. So now I'm enhancing myself with AI because I personally believe that when you see a tooling that can provide something better, you can use it, and you should take the chance of being better person and better version of yourself. So what AI does to me, I have realized that we all as people are limited, and our capabilities of thinking are sometimes limited in terms of processing power. So for example, if I give you a book with 3,000 pages, you will read it, but it will be hard for you. And for AI, it will be very simple task, and it will summarize whatever we need to see or hear from that. So before I continue, I would like to ask, how much of you agree that AI can improve us? Perfect. That's good. Thank you. So on this diagram, I want to show you how the past, in the older times when we created software, we were thinking about multiple things connected to each other. So they are really coupled. As you can see, each group or each feature is grouped with another feature. And when we build software or anything in the world, we started thinking like, what's the relation of all features and all groups? And this was the complex thing that we did. I mean, this is not applicable only in AI or IT areas. It's also the same as organization. We need to have relations and work. After that, we started doing this. Like, this is the present. Mostly the businesses were doing this. They have an API gateway, which is the middleman of everything, and then we connect different kinds of systems specialized for something, and we expose that API gateway to the web applications, mobile applications, other services. And let me just keep you more on this slide. Let's say we have a banking application. How much of you are using banking mobile application or web application? Most of us do. Yeah, thank you. So what we can see is that when we use the mobile application and the web application and probably some other service like POTS terminal, I don't know if it's called, like when you go to buy something and they take your card, and yeah, that's also integration with other service. So that's the magic behind everything. And what's the problem with this? Can somebody tell me, what do you think what's the problem with this kind of approach here now?
Latency, maybe?
Good, yeah, that's a really good answer, but also I was expecting scalability. So if we want to grow this as one piece, it's easy to copy paste five servers or containers or whatever, but we will still have some limitations in terms of, first, this application will behave for everyone the same features, same results. I mean, probably not the same numbers and data, but from application point, it will be built the same for everyone. So what's the next thing that we want to see is personalized application that will learn from us what we like, what we don't like, what we do, and that needs to be used for our experience. So this is the future. If you can see here, there are too many personal APIs, and each of us as users will start using that application and put who is my parent, where is my home, what are my relationship status, which generation I am, what am I working, or what music I hear. Everything from that data can be used for giving us the personalized experience, but this is too much data, and it's also the security aspect of it. Where do we keep those informations? GDPR and every standards that protect privacy can not longer follow in real time of what is happening in the background. So that's the security concern that I have, but this is the future. We are trading off the privacy, more or less, and giving detailed and personalized experience from applications. So, as I said, transforming a business starts with transformation of the mindset of all employees. So, before we work on some innovative projects, we need to decide if we want to actually take the drive and go forward with it, or setback and say, okay, I'm not feeling secure about using some third-party application or ChatGPT. So can someone tell me what's the problem with using third-party software, like ChatGPT, Copilot, anything, which is AI-based? Sorry?
Privacy.
Privacy, okay. But yeah, that's true. But most importantly, I was expecting different answer. So we depend on one system entirely. Like, think about it. You have a fancy application and sometimes ChatGPT starts not working. I mean, it will fail or throw some error, or maybe it won't work at all at that day. And you are fully dependable on it, because without that tooling that will support you and enhance you, you have nothing. So in terms of we try to avoid that, we started doing things the old way. So, you know, when you have a project, when you have applications, you start manually testing it. The manual QA profile still is one of the most crucial that will learn how things behave, how software works in the background. Then the automation engineer will try to take the steps from the manual QA. So this is oversimplification. The manual QA will have steps to reproduce. The automation engineer will implement API tests, which will reliably follow that steps and make the testing automated. And the last kind of profile, the security and performance engineer, he or she will try to combine automation, and it will try to parameterize whatever was written in the automation part. And you know, this is how it's done. Most of the businesses are still doing this kind of, and it's nothing wrong. Everything is working. The project itself is driving forward, so there is nothing wrong with that. But there is a shift left approach. Can someone tell me how many of you have heard about the terminology shift left? Okay, thank you. So yeah, it's still not too much used, but what we are trying to do is basically save effort and give much more reliable results by shifting everything to the left, which means the left person was the QA, the manual QA. So on the development part, the first one is the developer, right? So as we continue on the slides, I will explain it better. But what we want to achieve is we want to start with the software developer. So he's actively developing a feature or something. Then we ask from the software developer to implement Swagger or any kind of documentation library, which will basically generate APIs out of the box from the code. So that will simplify our testing. So you see, now in the new way, the software developer will start delivering more features because it will be clean, it will be organized, documented, and then we can use his file, analyze it with automation engineer, which still knows what's best, what is working, what is not working, adapt that file. For example, how much of you have used Postman as a tool? Perfect. In Postman, you know the collection, when you import it, you can import it from Swagger file. And when you do, you see the collection, you can make some adjustments if needed. And at the end, export it as clean JSON file, which can also be imported to LLMs. Now, the innovation here is that LLMs are good at following patterns, which means that if you put a Swagger file into an LLM and say, okay, I will give you this Swagger file, but you will generate tests from it or explain it to me. It will do the work pretty much and basically give you basic tests that might not be always concrete true, but it will save a lot of time. So this is an example of what I tried with Claude and with ChatGPT parallelly. So in this slide you can see I'm saying, if I give you a Swagger file, will you be able to generate basic API tests from that? And he says, yes. I upload the JSON file and I get list of things that are learned from that JSON file, explained like endpoints, versions, everything. The same also happened with Claude. I usually take two tools like this, so you can see the difference between how it's generated. So personally, I like ChatGPT more in this scenario, but you will see why I have shown you the second one. So yeah, after that, I generated tests from the collections, and they are really clear, and it's easy to, as you can see, the variables are easy to change, it's parameterized, it's clean, so you can use the tests. And basically think if you have a banking software with 25 APIs, how much time would you need to make this manually? And why would you need it? When you can generate, then fix, okay, I see that instances here is little bit, something is going on, I need to fix it. And you can do that also with another tool. So far I need to ask, how much of you like this kind of way so far? Okay, I know that it's not natural, and most probably you won't like it because it's not trustworthy yet, because we are trusting the tool to generate for our work, but I will explain why I'm mentioning. This is also a security test, a security example of test, which will basically try to test. So ChatGPT here understands better because it still follows the API, as you can see. The test is still focused on the API level, while the other one is trying to test unauthorized access, the database. So it kinds of different, it has different understanding on the same matter. So this is why I put this in the slide, so I can show you that sometimes it gets misinterpreted, which means, as Mladen mentioned, we need to have really clear way of talking and defining the prompt and giving as much as concrete information, and then we need to embrace the change. So basically, we are still going to approve at the end, and we are going to reuse indefinitely. If version 2 or version 3 is deployed, we will still be able to use the same approach for each of the versions and make the reusability. So this is where things are heading, and I have personally mixed feelings on do we trust the LLMs too much, or do we need to take off some of the trust and make some things manually? Either way, all of us as professional software developers or testers need to do that decision and make contributions to the community. So I don't know if someone heard of you. Let's make it more interesting. There is an AI for that, it's called. So this is a website. I don't know, many of you maybe have heard it. It's aggregator for AI tools, which means that if I say I need tools for API testing, it will give me pretty much all the tools that can be used for that matter. You can search, I don't know, for processing pictures, it's one place where you can collect everything at one place if you are searching something specific. And yeah, these slides are pretty much the end of the presentations. I will explain them to you. This is the shift left approach as we discussed previously. So when we develop something, the defect injection starts at coding. So 85% of the mistakes or the defects that can be done in software start at the start of coding, because we pretty much don't know what to develop. Maybe we don't have all the data, we are adjusting to something. And then when unit test starts, as you can see, it drops to the defect injection is the blue line. So we don't have too much new defects, but we start inventing the defects from the QA. The orange line is the QA in this diagram. So it starts in the coding, we are not doing anything. Then the QA starts from the unit test, from the functional test and the system test to find as much as possible defects. And after that, we are real. Sometimes we even release with some known bugs. This is the old way, how we did it. And now we are starting to think of the new way, which starts with the defect injection to be reduced. Can someone tell me why it's reduced here? Do you know? Sorry? Yes, but yeah, exactly. But we are reducing the defect injection because we started asking for the Swagger file at the start. And the developers have clear idea of what APIs are there. They are tagging, they are producing clear code which improves our defects. And then, as you can see, it continues the same for the defect injection, but the defects found start in the coding phase, because you know, when you give me the Swagger file, as a QA, I start, okay, this endpoint is wrong, this is not working, this is weird. So I boost the the percentage of defects found at the start, and my developer colleagues will hate me probably. And then I continue to the unit test phase, the functional test, the system test, and basically have release with the smallest amount of defects. Because now, as you can see, the developers have three phases of time more to fix and develop and adjust, because as the time is passing by, the developer and the tester will consult on each other, improve on each other, and things won't get that far. And as you can see, the last line, cost to repair a defect, we are reducing money spent because we are taking things from the start, and this is also beneficial for the business because we give more value and spend less money. So yeah, basically that was from my presentation. I hope you liked it. Mladen, you can also join me, so we can start maybe, there you are. We can start a Q&A session here.
Thank you, Dragan.
Thank you.
You told us that you have mixed feelings about LLMs.
Yes.
Right? I have a question for you, but I will tell you one personal experience that I had in the meantime between creating my presentation and now about one workflow that we have in our company. For example, assume that you have one invoice, okay? And that invoice can be in paper form. For example, you ordered coffee for your office. And in our company, we take that invoice, we take a photo of that invoice, store that on Google.
Yeah, some container.
Store,
Yeah.
there, and after that, we need to take some data from that invoice to see whom we will need to pay, how much, for which things, and things like that. And for each invoice that we receive in our company, we need to do that kind of thing, and it takes time because some persons that are responsible for that need to take a photo, open that, to spend some time on really, I will be hard on this, but I will say stupid things like, it's a repetitive.
Mundane things.
Like you need to see, okay, amount, and then to type that amount, who is the one that sent the invoice, and to type that. It's really repetitive. What I did in our company, I took that digital file and gave that file to Gemini. But we can do that with ChatGPT and all other AI models. And I prompt, okay, you have this file, this is invoice for sure. In this file you will find information. Who sent that invoice, how much we will need to pay, what is the account number, and things like that, those information. And result is pretty good. Why? Because they are using multi-models. They use OCR, for OCR. It's the technology that will give you text from the image. They use OCR, and then with LLM mixed, they return me all the information that I needed. And we now save a lot of time because for each invoice, we just need to send that to LLM, and LLM will return us information that we need. We at the end need just to verify that LLM did a good job for us. And it's much easier because, for example, if we take care about amount, for sure we'll take care about amount in the invoice, we will just need to open that file and to take the text that LLM returned to us and compare. It's good. And after some time we will probably stop to verify that model because it will be better and better and better. And we will stop doing boring job. So you said you have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Why?
I have a long answer and short answer. I will start with the short version.
I will stop before you answer. Today we will not talk about AGI, please.
Yeah. No AGIs.
We don't want to talk about AGI.
No.
From my experience, it's too much philosophical to talk about that. So we will not talk about AGI, we will talk about AI as tool as any other tool, okay?
Yeah. And my answer was not about AGI also, So, guys, my perspective in these 11 years I have seen a lot of technologies, and the thing that impresses me is how they evolve. And if you have closer look about how things work in the background in AI world, it's physics, it's mathematics, it's statistics, and it's very complex. And it frustrates me that I don't understand everything. That's who I am. But most probably, I don't trust enough because I work with security, and in cybersecurity, you are standing against having some privacy. And my professional deformation is that I want to keep things private. On the other hand, I see the efficiency that I get with the AI. So in my head, I think that there is a trade-off solution, which is giving enough data to give me value, but obfuscates some of the data so I don't feel, because I have seen software tools that are implemented poorly, and at the end they got breached, and I was called now sometimes needs to save the planet or the projects. So people started asking questions like, where is this data come from? How do you know that? Because if you try Chat GPT, it has pretty much good assumptions. And if you try it to give only the idea, it assumes things. And those things are assumed from some data that they trained on. So the assumption part is what shows me how powerful it is, because I'm giving so little data, but focused context, and I get plenty of data. Even I have questions from the LLM that wants to take more data out of me. And I realized that we are using these tools, and we get used to trust that sense of security. Like in 5 years, we won't even think if it's right or wrong. We will just ask, we will fetch the results and go with the flow. And that's why I have mixed feelings. But what is the good thing is that it evolves us on a different level, and each of us can be better engineers, smart people. Like if you have to go on a date and don't have the pickup line, ask it. And yeah, we can,
Dragan.
yeah.
Okay, let's continue with your questions. Please.
Yeah.
I have a few questions. One is for Malden. You mentioned something about the performance benefits of using AI, right? But did you, or rather, I'm curious of the impact on performance mistakes on the different levels of a developer. For example, how did it impact juniors, intermediates, and seniors? Was there testing done on that level?
That's really good question. Now, once when you asked me that question, I realized that I didn't mention something that I wanted to mention in my presentation. So we experienced with one of our colleagues that is, let's say, mid-level developer, we experienced that his quality of the pull requests dropped once when he started to use AI tools. Probably he was faster and stopped thinking. So it was a strange situation for us, new situation for us. We didn't know how to, at first, how to face it. And at the end, we realized for junior people, it's like any other tool, right? If you use it on right way, you will get right, good results. But if you don't care, if you just ask AI to do work for you, probably you will at some point you will make some bugs or mistakes and things like that. So yeah, that's the part of my presentation. We are thinking a lot about that, and at first we gave permission to use those tools only to senior people at first, because senior people can better understand those answers and analyze better answers and things like that. But at the end now, everybody's using that, and we are trying to educate people how to use it. Like when we are talking about prompts, I have a feeling that everybody's like, it's so easy to write question. Actually, it's not. It's not that easy to write question, and it's not that easy to use with good quality those answers and to use that tool in right way. So yeah, still, even it seems really easy, like Googling, still a lot of people don't know how to Google right. Yeah, so it's same thing, like previously we had Google and our developers and our people asked questions on Google and they could find answer on Stack Overflow, and if you just copy paste and don't care about those things, the quality probably will drop. I hope I answered.
Yeah. I guess I can ask the two questions now. The two questions are Dragan. One of them is, as a team lead, what do you advise your team when prompting AI tools, especially how much context should they actually give it for security reasons? How much they should use it? When to use it? Is there any formal training?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great question. As a team lead, I have been in a situation where I personally think that each of the engineers have the right to use or not to use the tool, as long as they are aware of what data they are sharing and how they are using that data. So what I did with the team at that time, I said, it's on your responsibility to decide that, and it's really hard. As you mentioned, the juniors are people that want to learn things, and juniors start using those kind of tools, but without any concrete idea of how powerful it is or how to decide each of the events that it is doing. So from my perspective, there is no concrete training. I believe that some companies do have that kind of prompt engineering trainings where you can learn the basics and how to form a sentence, and that will give more results from the LLM, and it would be probably specialized. OpenAI maybe has different kind of working, when you use this kind of prompts, it performs better. So I have also heard the terminology called meta prompts. It's a prompt in a prompt, the prompt itself configures the tool and starts working towards giving better explanations or giving data. It also puts some limits, but also it evades some limits. So this is still in experimental usage because people still don't know what they can use or do. So as a team lead, I personally just, I don't want to micromanage anyone. I just put them in a situation where they have to make the decision. And after that, they can come back to me and say, okay, I'm more performant than the previous week or month or year with this kind of tooling, and it actually provides me better data. But I also agree with Mladen that sometimes we use the tooling and we just want to copy paste and use the static things that there are provided, and the quality starts to fade away. From my experience in security, the first thing that security engineer starts to try is to make some script about hacking. That's the script kiddie inside everyone. And it also gets on the people the power, like, I'm able to do some things. But when they realize that it's not easy, because they don't understand actually what will be done with that script, they oftenly come back with broken computers, with systems that are not working anymore because they are misconfigured. So I personally trust that 10 years of experience can be better than using tool, but I also think that people that want to get there will get there faster when they use such tooling, because they will be exposed to multiple situations. They will make more mistakes at first, but they will learn easily and more, and they will at the end be better professionals. Thank you.
My final question.
Yeah?
For a lot of questions. As a security specialist and enthusiast, I want to ask, so as far as my understanding, and it might be wrong,
Okay.
that data we send to, let's say, OpenAI is abstracted, right? It's not specifically like labeled or tagged to a company or whatever, like, I don't know, big AI tool, new whatever, right? Feature.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
How dangerous is it actually to use, let's say, AI tools on more like, let's say, every aspect of the company, especially how dangerous is it, like, let me think of the proper way to say the question. How much can OpenAI actually learn from our data?
So this is what I think. It doesn't have to be true, but this is how I see things. If I am OpenAI and I bring this tool to the world, and if I have the power to collect those kind of data, right? So nobody should allow me to collect that data in plain text, which means that I need to find a way to correlate it without keeping in the form that I want to. So, for example, if they keep my name, they don't have to know if Dragan is the account, but they have to know that this ID 5 correlates to Dragan personality. You know, and I'm thinking, like, when you use those kind of tooling, we don't actually understand what's in the background. I mean, even if we understand, we are not going to tell, because we signed an NDA in the background. When you work there, you will also sign a contract which prevents you to tell those things to the world. And from my perspective, I think that they can collect a lot of data from a lot of inputs as sources of data, but they need to categorize and decide what of this data is relevant and what is not, because they also collect junk data that is not going anywhere. So the engineer behind those kind of LLMs have a way of categorizing based on the tokens and the relevance of the tokens. So I don't want to get too much into detail, so I don't want to confuse you. But I have researched, so basically every word is a token, and that token is represented in numerical form, like some negative or positive decimal number. And it's a matrix, you know, when we learned in math the matrix.
Classic linear
Yes,
algebra.
exactly. So the representation of that data that they collect is in that form. So it's not understandable to the human. But the AI system itself has correlation between different prompts, different numbers, so they correlate into a context. Because when you ask, how is the weather like in Skopje? So it needs to understand that the context is the weather, but its location is in Skopje, and then it needs to check if I have that data based on two parameters. But if it's something really complex, for example, when you describe a problem, I have started my server and it started showing me this error, but after that I tried this and that, and when you explain, it needs to follow the context, and that's really tricky because it has a really bigger computational power in the background. So I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
Basically, the data scientists, they are working to find ways to use our information.
Yes, and that information must be monitored. So even if you use ChatGPT, it says down in a label that a moderator might analyze your chat, and we collect it, we analyze it. So if they are having a trusted people,
use enterprise version.
yeah, that's the short version, yeah.
Still, it's better when they say, even if we don't believe that.
Yeah.
It's better if they say legally. It's better.
Yeah, and if they say, if they don't do it, you can sue them and have a lot of money.
But if they say that they will for sure use it,
yeah,
you need to care.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Related to the first question.
Sorry?
Related to the first question.
Okay.
You guys mentioned you decided on using two models, the Copilot and ChatGPT. My questions are you using them in conjecture? For example, the same team uses both services so that they can cross-check the results they get from the model? Or do you use them separately in different teams depending on what their individual needs? Mm-hmm. What kind of processes they need to complete?
Currently, it's on the team member to decide which tool that person needs. For example, I'm using just ChatGPT. Some people are using just Copilot. Some of them are using both, but we didn't do anything regarding those two because I believe Copilot is almost similar to ChatGPT, and it's built on the top of ChatGPT because of Microsoft and OpenAI relations and things like that. So, yeah.
So there is no significant difference in the quality of the results?
I didn't see so far. Maybe there are some differences, but I didn't see them in our research.
Must take some.
Yeah.
First of all, there's big difference if you use free version or paid version, $70 per year.
Does that?
Yeah.
And that's all.
There is big difference. You have many wrong answers when you use free version instead of $70 per year. That's the first part of my some kind of questions. I exposed my little experience about OpenAI. The second one, the environment is the most important thing that you can arrange when you make prompt engineering. I mean, when you ask questions. So, let's say
when you say environment.
Environment, just a minute. Environment. I say I work testing in Selenium WebDriver.
Okay.
So I'm working in Selenium WebDriver. Also, I work in framework.
That's the context that I mentioned.
Yes.
In my.
Yes, I just little late because I say have some issues, and I wasn't for all your exposed. So I don't know I didn't fetch all the details, but
Okay.
so
Excuse
Sorry,
me,
thank you.
if I don't mention anything, I missed something. So the second one, you work Selenium WebDriver in Eclipse. Hey, I am working Selenium WebDriver with, I don't know, EA 17 version in Eclipse, or maybe I work in IntelliJ, maybe I fetch data from Maven repo, or I use Gecko driver. So environment, okay, you work in Eclipse, or you fetch totally different results. Also, experience of the tester, developer, or whatever is the most important thing. You must know what you have to take on the end of your question, or on the end of the answer of the
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm from tomorrow to developer. I ask 3 questions, I get answers. Okay, I write the code. If it works, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just I wanted to mention.
I can tell you example from my work where I use some scripts for those invoices, and I ask Gemini to return me name of the file regarding of the file that I gave to Gemini. And for example, I said, okay, that name should be name of the company / amount, let's say, to simplify. And for some reason, Gemini gave me space at the end. I didn't want that space at the end. I want clear format to have for all the files that are invoices in our company. And I told Gemini, okay, please remove spaces. And he did that pretty good. But at one moment we received invoice for the company that has name with 2 words and space with that. Between those 2 words, I say
because it was
company. And of course, because model is following my prompt, he removed the space even from the company name. You understand?
Yes.
So you need to be really specified why you ask for something, what problem you want to solve.
Yeah, also when you make a tabular format, leave word space. Exactly. Because if you have 2 spaces, it gives you some smashed analysis.
The syntax in which you communicate is really crucial of how it understands.
Sometimes you don't get tabular format from ChatGPT, but from Popular you get this for the same question exactly the proper table format.
Probably because, you said environment. Copilot has access to all the files in your project, so probably he knows better with all those information.
Somehow knows better. A lot
Probably.
of things. I also use sometimes Brie AI from Microsoft. Brie.
Brie. Okay.
AI from
I didn't hear
Microsoft. Now it's built-in. It's with Windows 11. In Windows 10, you can fetch from Microsoft Store. It was a free version. Now, for 10 days ago, now it's paid version, about $70 per year. But it's very good. It's very good. And when you make parallel with Copilot, you fetch great results. Okay. Brie AI is excellent.
I didn't know that.
I use it.
I tested Gemini,
Brie AI is inbuilt application you can fetch from Microsoft Store.
Interesting.
Like from.
That's the reason why we are here to hear all the experiences.
To share
share the knowledge.
Brie AI excellent, but previous I get very good answer. Now it's a little bit reduced. You have 10 answers.
That's fine.
From test. You can ask just 10.
10 times, okay.
10 times, and you can get anything. Okay, you can install again. Okay, and you get 10 more answers, but it's more specified than others. Web OpenAI.
So I just wanted to share with you all. There is a parameter called temperature. I don't know if you have heard. So if you set temperature to 0, temperature.
Temperature.
Yeah,
temperature.
on the AI model, you can configure the parameter.
Yeah, of course.
And to say use temperature 0, and it will be concrete. It won't try to be friendly or, to compensate the friendliness, and it will be like tan, 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 and nothing else.
What we use for invoices, because you don't want that for invoices, because you want real data to
You only need the clear form or the relevant response without the friendliness.
Depends of which environment you use. Yeah, I'm also mechanical engineering, and I'm also a mechanical engineer. I use also BRI in some projects for air conditioning or something.
Yeah.
And when I make an excellent environment, he gives me a proper answers of my questions. So the environment is the most important thing when you ask questions.
It really also means that the computational power behind, maybe it's as a businessman, if you have a chat bot that you want to sell, you need to make it stupider deliberately, so people will buy the new version of.
Kind of chatbot.
Yeah.
BRI is some kind of chatbot.
I think that's
Any other
called planned obsolescence or something like that.
Sorry?
I think it was called like planned obsolescence. You basically made the older versions dumber.
Yeah.
Like iPhones, Apple did for battery issues.
Yeah. And yeah.
First of all, great presentation, both of you.
Thank you.
So the question will go to both of you. As experts in AI and cybersecurity, we are going around with the questions, but this is more direct question. Do you maybe think that prompt engineering is our next skill that we should acquire in the next couple of years? What do you think about that kind of?
First.
I think it will be skill like all other skills that we.
It will be useful and very nice to have.
You can have two good engineers and one can Google. Even if we just simplify that with Googling, one person will Google good and know how to find the solution, how to find the information that person needs. And on the other side, you can have another person that just Google that and copy paste, things like that. So it's really important on how we face those things. Yeah. So it will be for sure important skill. Should we have prompt engineering engineers? I don't know. Probably. How I see the future? I see the future, for example, you have email and you receive some information in the email every, 1 month or every week. And every time when you receive that information, you do some kind of job. Let's say it's, I will give my example, PDV. You have to do each month, right? So my accountant send me some data, and each month I need to check that data and do some application on that data and things like that. So what I expect in future that we will do, once when I do some workflow, once when I have some flow that I repeat, it will understand that I repeat that work and it will work for me. I will not have to do multiple times, to do repetitive work anymore, because it's boring. We don't want that. And I hope we will be all smarter and our life will be much better with those tools.
Yeah, so my perspective on that is we will evolve in psychology as communicators with AI, because that in the background makes us to be great storytellers. Like the prompt engineering as a field, it's psychology, I think, mostly. And it will make us better to be official communicating things, but also make us skilled on thinking what is relevant and what is not relevant. There is a field, it's called social engineering in security. It is basically hacking a human, but not in a technical way. It's psychology behind it. So this is something that is close and it's a little bit different because it's based on the science and the mathematics in the background, but as a prompt engineers, we will definitely need the skill, and it will also change us as a person, not to be like skeptical on things. It will be more like driving us forward, and our mindset will be more like, okay, I have an idea, now how do I translate my idea into words that specifically will give me value? And yeah.
I totally agree with both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah.
So there's this I wanted to share something. There's this theory that Google search has become less effective over the years, and the reason for that, as some people, IT experts, whatever, speculate, is that the system has become so complex that now it's giving worse results. So what I've learned to do, basically to mitigate this, is use an AI tool. It's like a competitor to ChatGPT. It's way smaller. It's called Fin with a P.com. And the good thing about that tool is that on the side it gives you like sources where it learned that data from, basically. So now you have the ability to explain a better Google search with more context, and get I call it rapid research, because now you have very specific and relevant websites to open, studies or whatever, which is, I found that very useful.
It's exactly the same what, sorry, name. Georgi told us. So I think it's called RAG, R-A-G, where you actually are giving more information that is important for that question. So you're giving an environment or context, or I don't know how to call that properly, but you are giving more information that will help you to get right answer.
Exactly, you have to give more information to take little exact information.
Yes. And the more you're doing,
you need to communicate well. And we are not that good in communication, you all know.
I mean, as a human race, generally, we will evolve in communicating, because we will be able to in older times there were traditions, like the tradition defined the behavior of the people, or the religion, for example. I see it as a complex system of rules. I am believing in everything, but I'm saying the religion itself is a system of rules. Now we do the same, but with ChatGPT or some kind of AI that is interactive. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I understand.
You have to have a big knowledge to ask a proper question in proper environment to get a precise and correct answer. You got to have a knowledge. If you have a knowledge, you know how to formulate the question.
It's same with every powerful tool.
Yes, absolutely.
You have atomic bomb, and
absolutely,
you will not give that to all the people, right? So
the atomic bomb was once just a tool that will generate energy, and they used it so. You have the tool, but how are you going to use it is depending on how mature we are as a person. So.
Any other question?
Also not sure what question, more as a follow-up. What we also need aside from the ability to ask the right question in the right way, is the ability to actually be able to evaluate the answer critically. Because the AI will make mistakes. I have made mistakes, I've always made mistakes. And you both know it made a mistake, and sometimes you won't even know why it made the mistake if you told it made a mistake. So as an end user or consumer, or be provided by AI, we need the ability to evaluate what we are given, and if we choose to accept it, why we have chosen to accept it, and in what form. Do we need more? Do we need to correct it? We thought, okay, this may be the answer. This is not exactly what I need.
But even we,
a mistake.
humans, also are making some mistakes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it only depends on the quality, on conversion rate, right? So if it's really good, if you have 99% good answers, you will take that risk. In each tool you have some kind of risk. There is no tool that is risk-free.
Yeah, even the human. The ratio of errors that one human does in a lifetime is 27%. It's interesting fact that I was reading about. So I think that the tool will probably be the same. Because, you know, many things we are learning from, but they are not correct at all. I mean, some of them are partially correct, some of them are not correct at all, but we accept it and go through in life. So, yeah, the risk is when we use those tools, we start to trust more and more, and that makes us addictive. Like, it's addictive to us, because now we have one pinpointed entity to ask anything, and it will give some answer. But I'm scared if that will contribute to rely more on thinking. I mean, rely more on the answers that we got, but start less using our critical thinking. So that's the risk, and you can't avoid it, but hey.
I think it would be nice to stop here, because
Yeah.
food is waiting for us.
Yeah,
Still, we
we
will
can-
have time to
yeah.
discuss things.
We can network a little bit. So, yeah.
Dragan, thank you
Thank you.
for being our guest.
Thank you, guys.